Let's hope this works. Hello. I don't know how many we've got in the house. I probably should mention to a couple of my moderators that we're going live. Now, I've sat and I've meditated, and I do have an update for you. I'll just message my moderators. And those of you that are here, welcome. There you go. How are we all doing? Okay, now I did put a questionnaire up, which is really ironic because at a percentage rate of the amount of subscribers I have on YouTube versus the amount that are voted is quite small. Regardless, I have listened, okay? It's not I don't listen. And I also do coaching, which is, for you guys that come here to check your twin flame journey. Thank you. Also, I've been very open with my path and what that entailed. A lot of studying has been there, a lot of research, plus looking back at my path of, what worked for me, what didn't work for me. And again, it's all, let me put it this way. The reason why I went away from twin flame readings per zodiac sign is because initially, it's important to know the energy, yin and yang. I will say that. It's also important to then, as you get further into the journey, you'll notice you may not resonate with videos, and that's good. That is a good thing. And I'll tell you the reason why. Because you initially in the separation energy go through the 7 stages of healing. So with the 7 stages of healing, it's acceptance and it's release, right? So there are those of you that have been coaching and you've been getting regular readings and you've been doing the work on yourself and you really are nonchalant and in detachment, you're coming into union, okay? And that can be happening between now and March. Others of you, if you've been quite fixed, it can be quite challenging. And I think that, Giggle and I were talking about this morning. We were talking about... this isn't a romantic path. It really isn't. It's quite, and it's hit and miss, really. And all of us are trying to seek that very important information to help us through. But, initially it's to the stage you just want union. That's the ultimate goal. That's all that matters. And then through the ascension process and the 7 stages of healing, you can become very disillusioned. And it's quite natural to happen, and it comes in ebbs and flows. So popularity in that domain can go up and it can go down. So for me as a YouTuber, as well as a twin flame who's in union, it's been very interesting to share those emotions with you guys, but watch that transformation. And I have started actually attracting new twin flames. Now, it doesn't really matter whether you are or aren't a twin flame, because the path alone can break those codependent patterns, providing you're wanting to do that work. And it can, for those of you that are clearing through the chakra systems, it is the most horrendous journey. It's the most painful clearing. It's really bringing the skeletons in the closet out, your shadow aspect, the mirror, the inner work. And psychically, ironically, I really do talk about how in that ascension process, the way they say that you're always separated, no, you're always together, egoically we believe no, but you really are, and you understand that the further into the journey you get, because you will start having psychic attack. You'll be like all good, and then the energy will come in and it can feel quite emotional and it can feel very bipolar in energy. So you'll be operating fine and you'll feel their energy. So it can be very disrupting, especially if you are trying to move into detachment. So, the coaching that I do for those of you that do express it, thank you for trusting me to do that, and great job on your side for doing such. So it depends on where you are in the journey. Now, we also can't enable. So there are key things to it, which again, from, the small percentage of you that have actually, made the effort, gone and voted, I deeply appreciate it. But what it has shown me is where the cracks are in this YouTube channel system. And it's certain individuals that are feeling, and I'm going to ask some questions to those of you in the house. Some of you who are further back, Cosmic Love Tarot, I know where you're at. You probably don't really care will more than likely come into union very soon, which I think is really funny because you get to a point you've created your life whole and it's always when they come back in again, but it's to keep it there. And that's what we learn through this process. It's so that when you are in reunion, you're not losing your compass, and that we allow things and then we disallow things, but it's more, it doesn't have to bump you off your axis, so that you can keep that there. And it's also breaking those codependent patterns of playing chess in it. Like if you do X, Y, and Z, there's going to be a detrimental outcome. And if that was going to be so, well, you find you have your separation again. But the triggers that come up in reunion are huge. So I already have, and I'll be honest with you, I do have 30 people that I have been coaching for the last 4 years. They are in communication. So that is already happening. And I have decided between now and next month, through this transition of the changes I'm going to mention that's going to happen at Yildiz readings relating to the twin flame path and the channel, I am going to get those individuals to come on the channel to chat. Okay. I'm also twins that are at a further level of the journey. I'm going to interview those people too, because we can gain something off it. And if you're only hearing it from me and then you go into other channels, it depends on the style of reading you're looking at, which can dictate where you are on your path. So I'm going to start asking some people, and even after this video is uploaded, I will respond to you, because we can learn something about where you are in your journey by the styles of videos you look at. So please share with me now, on your twin flame path, what are the things that you feel you look at and may resonate with you right now? And you can name the style of videos. You know, is it what's going on with karmic? Is it pick a card reading? Is it psychic channeled messages, which not about me, where you're at in your path and what you feel you look at to understand what's going on your journey. I'll just wait a few minutes. And again, after the video, feel free, because we can then see what the collective of that pocket of group and the different waves of where they're at and what they're looking at. Psychic messages. Okay. And that's another thing I'm going to be integrating into this channel, which initially it was. And the reasons why it didn't happen, I'll explain this. Okay, cool. Psychic messages, yeah. Karmic. Anyone else? No shade. This is just, I'm going to show you how, well, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with the channel, and how I can help, because I need to steer my energy towards what the tribe is, obviously. Hi, Val. How are you? Psychic downloads. And I'm drinking. And we're going to do Turkish coffee readings as well. Spiritual growth, rising signs. Cool. Well, I already mentioned to giggle to keep an eye on your south and your north node. I cut it a little bit, and you're probably thinking, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. So it's been cut. You know, this is just the first day after color. It's actually quite shiny, really, under the circumstances, but yeah. It was below the bottom. I was getting a little bit unruly. I was like the witches of Eastwick, go to the shops and try and pick up some fruit. And my hand couldn't retrieve it because my hair was falling over my hand. And I was like, it's time to cut it. Energy updates. So do you ever look at love readings relating to the twin flame path, Leonix? Oh, thanks, love. Hi, Jen. What sort of readings do you look at, Jen? Because remember, this can help us. A, it can show us where we are on the path. B, it can show us where we can have a reality in it. Thanks. Leonix, do you look at twin flame reads to do with what the masculine's feeling? Do you look at karmic energies? Like, what do you look at? Political carding. Love you, Andrew. Yildiz, I sent you an email to book a Skype. You just go directly through the website, Dale. Yeah, because all the website bookings are via... I did get an email from a subby. Website's not working, probably because I'm editing it. Let me check. Usually if I've got it open in a web browser, yeah, I do. Okay, I'll tell you what. I'll close it here now. Yeah, just write a post up or I'll usually get to it. There you go. It's turned off now. You'll probably be able to use it. If I'm editing, you'll find that it'll lag. So just chuck a message through and I'll turn the bloody thing off. Yeah, it's usually because I'm editing the website. You like to look at what the energies are. Okay, astrology is the sun. Yep. Okay, now, the reason I said how many of you in the house look at karmic readings? I should write some notes here because this is going to be an important process. Number one, I'm changing the format of the readings up. How the energies of heaviness and effect on us. Well, that's what the astrology does, and that's why I use astrology for my ascension. Somebody wrote me an email, and I'm not going to name names, and they mentioned the fact that they don't feel the and this is a really ironic path to be a reader because, number one, in order for me to be here, I need bookings. I'll just say that because this is a full-time job, and this is nothing to do with wanting to be rich. This is a reality that in order for me to stay on YouTube's changing, and I may have triggered some people accidentally this week with the changes on the channel. Now, I'll explain why. Sometimes people can feel that Yildiz is changing, and yes, I will change. It's a reality. I'm not going to stay the same. But when I opened the members zone has been available to me to open for 2 years now, right? So it's been there the whole time, but it's a management issue due to the fact I reconciled and I was balancing the energy of his children, the karmic situation. We'd moved. It was unmanageable, and I don't take on anything I can't manage. So in doing such, it was more from a perspective that when we want to talk candidly, and I do actually have stalkers that are karmics on this channel. Don't really care. It is what it is. But for the privacy to speak candidly, that's where that room is handy. Okay? Okay. Yeah, no, we're talking about the channel at the moment. We'll talk about twin flame path in a minute. In a sense, I will do a separate video, but this is to do with a coaching session plus how the channel's changing in relation to how to create the content that is going to best serve you as a subscriber. So in relation to this, what I did notice is each one of us is a different stage in the path. You're not interested in looking at karmic readings. Much prefer guidance on how to focus on your path. Yeah, but then look what you wrote above, sweet, because you heard that the karmic broke up. So you had a dream since then. Yeah, it's kind of hard. See, sometimes we don't, when we look at the karmic path, it doesn't have to be a physical person, right? And you will find in your journey, everything that's happening on your side and any pattern that's happening on your side will directly be occurring on the masculine side in a different shape or form. So when I went into separation, I'll give you an example. And these don't think this video is a waste. This is probably more important than any love reading, than any psychic reading, because you are the asset inside of your journey to reach union tomorrow. That's how crazy it is. Number one, 7 stages of healing. You go through the experience and you come to acceptance. Until you've reached that, we're not completely at that detachment. Now, what does detachment mean? It means you have reached a pivotal point in your life that your ship won't sink if masculine never shows up. Oh, do you? Yeah, well, I've been hiding. I've been in hermit mode because obviously this transformation for all of us. Look, even me as a twin, I'm going to constantly transcend. I'm going to have ascension symptoms. And also at a level, A, we have to be in detachment. B, we have to be non-codependent. Some twin flames are very codependent. ATM. So trying to keep things the same, everything has to be manageable, right? So with my separation, this is what I did with me. you will be moving through that detachment, purging an egoic experience relating to the past of what it was, how it was, and where it's at now. So I did a little diagram like this, and on this side was me, and on this side, the circle was them. Right? That was me. We're playing noughts and crosses, peeps. That was me. X marks the spot because we are the common denominator in it. But how did that occur? So we're trying to break a pattern, right? I wrote down all the things. First, I ditched me because obviously we need to focus on all our beliefs, our feelings, our emotions inside of what we felt they needed to change, what they were, what was rubbish, right? Write it down. Step back. It's a painting. And now in every one of those situations, go back and go, do I have an issue as such like that in my life? And when you do this exercise, trust me, it shifts things. So I had a belief. I'll give an example. My poor twin, the things he has to go through this process for my coaching. And look, there are some great YouTubers that actually are in union, and I'll mention a couple of them. There is a same-sex couple that's on YouTube, and forgive me that I can't remember their name right now because I'm in the thick of it, and they do great coaching. And it doesn't matter whether you're a soulmate or you're a twin flame. It's current energy check-in. It's looking at the yin and yang, and it's looking at each person's perspective, and we can already do that. You can do that by you directly looking at the things on your working life and how you deal with them in a masculine format. Currently, we have that energy playing out in the collective due to the fact that we have, in January when I'm recording this, this video is, timeless. The sun is in Capricorn, masculine, but plus our ego relating to whose responsibilities what. And Venus in Capricorn, feminine. Yin and yang is already playing out in the collective. He said, she said, but we're doing our work separately. So if there's sort of distortion coming, it is because we're purging that till the new moon. And as we move forward, it will transform over. So doing this exercise, I had a belief system, i.e. that my twin needed to create healthy boundaries with karmics, okay, with people, with whoever. Okay, so that went down there, healthy boundaries. Anyone have an issue with that, thinking about their twin? Tables bouncing. Anyone agree with that? Yeah, no? Healthy boundaries for karmic-related situations. Is that a big one? Like, why haven't they owned their power? I'll wait for a few people to mention that in the chat. Yep. Oh, Louise, it's all right. Okay, now, this is the horrible part about the mirror. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Well, in my ego, I had been, looking at my masculine initially as a victim, and I was ever so cross. I was like, why do you do that to yourself, you poor man? They, and this is really early on in the journey. I mean, 10 years ago, right? Maybe to a degree, but very, very little, right? Even when we had separation, that was not there. And that's why the connection was so small. It's because I'd already purged that cycle. It was like, I got 99 problems and you have 99 problems, and I can equally come to this table, but I can't do everything. I'm not God. Now, with that, where in your life do you have unhealthy boundaries? That's the mirror. Because while we feel they need to shift that, there is something currently playing out in our life that we do not have balance with. And in some shape, we feel people are controlling, or, if you had control and boundaries and you were powerful, that makes you safe. It also could be with family members. So it's going to relate to different areas of your life. My twin proposed a relationship, but on the contingency that I quit wearing makeup and dyeing my hair. Yeah, your emotions. Well, that's coming up anyway because we've got Mars and Taurus. Okay, so the healthy boundaries. Yeah, it could be our diet. It could be, with our family members. It's like, oh, it has to be this way for now because it's a paradigm and an experience. So that this is an example you can use. Now, the style of videos initially I was doing was twin flames and it was weekly. Now, to a degree, that was popular. Plus, it was during the point where I was moving into union. I then was going through a transformation where I went into separation, and you guys had the luckiness of through that process of me being separate, alone, single. My daughter had moved out, having me almost every day. Okay. Now, as channels grow, we need to have it manageable so you get your creative content in a healthy format in a timely manner, plus energy cycles and tools. Now, the intent initially was to bring to you tools to reach union. What the signs are for those of you who are newer at the path, which there are channels on YouTube that do that, except my teachings aren't the same as theirs. There was one channel I did come across most recently. It's not to say that what they have does not set the script, and it is correct. 100% it is. But through my experience of my separation and my reconnection, and then my union with self and union with twin, which we're going into our 3rd year now, which I don't really care about dates. I've detached from that too, because it doesn't define me anymore. I'm whole, and so I take each day as it is, where it is, to move that situation in my life forward. I keep stock of my side of the fence. Now, with the videos when they were coming through weekly, with your ascension process, they were up and down, and it did at times cause triggers. As you get further into the journey, you will get into looking at those zodiacs. Yes, I'm going to pull Stefan on the show, hopefully. We did talk about that before. How's your twin? So by then looking at your videos, wherever you're getting them from, looking at it as the masculine, feminine, but understanding the masculine lives within you as well, so that instead of getting triggered, you can actually shift it back and say, does that in some shape or form relate to my side of the path within my work, within my masculine energy of empowerment? And is there something I need to look at? Now, at this point, we are in feminine receptive energy. So there's this frequency coming through where we're gearing up ready for that rebirth. But we're looking at it from the masculine's perspective. We're embodying masculine energy. So there could be a little bit of push-pull energy coming through, and we're going to rebirth that. So this can be a very emotional week. Transits can show you the ups and downs, the ins and outs of the flows. And mid-year, we can have a lot of psychic attacks and things like that coming through. When it does come to maybe karmic situations playing out to test the stability of our growth and the direction we're going. But don't fear it, trust it. I can connect them with that. So what I'm going to be doing on this channel is based on some of the things that you guys are going through. First, you're going to have inner union with self. You couldn't care if the karmic tripped on a stick. You will get to a point that you understand they have no control. No control. You will start tuning out because you will look at how hellish your life has been, and you'll realize as you have power and you've had to fall, stumble, cut your knee, pick yourself up, dust yourself off and keep going, when you jump into the ego of it, of looking at potentially the masculine has X, Y, and Z going on, do that mirror work. Check stock, take stock of where you're at in your journey, and what you think the belief system is on that side of the fence and what you think it is on this side of the fence. Now, I'm also, because I do know that there are pocket groups, and I've already got about 30 of you that are talking to your twin, and there is movement. I'm going to have to start developing tools, and I do coaching separately. You guys are already working with me. So those of you that are going into union and you're already interacting with your twin, yes, first few months, easy 6 months, can be very testing because you can really be butting heads, but you find you can't go anywhere. I don't know why it happens that way. Now, that doesn't have to be it's going into a direct intimate connection right away. No, that's not what union is. Union is when you reach soul union with self first. So you're at peace, you're nonchalant. You will come to a gratitude energy of where you're at in your process and what you've moved towards. And then when you're integrating with that energy, it can be quite troubling. You notice twin moves, the other soon does. Yeah. Yeah, so you're dancing the dance, but you kind of find that it's weird. I call it an umbilical on the back. Don't you reckon, Stefan? It's like you're and then you're like, oh, okay. The feminine, the one who embodied the most feminine, it almost feels like you have to re-level up because everything you learned, you have to outlearn. Because what the masculine goes through in their process is essentially very similar to PTSD, and they were MIA mentally and cognitively. So if you find that when they're reaching communication with you and they've disconnected from all that BS back there, thanks, sweet, you'll find that as they're moving forward, they're wanting to leave that behind. And some of it they may not cognitively be aware of. So for the ones that embody the feminines, I'm calling Stefan and I out. I can be honest, I'm no shade. I was triggered as heck. I remember he came into the room one day, and this was very early on in the piece. I was like, and I had to slow my breathing, and I looked at him and my eyes were bulging out like a goldfish, and he grabbed me by the arms. And he goes, "What's wrong?" And I went, "I'm having a friggin' panic attack." And it's like every 2 seconds, oh my God, oh my God. And he was like, "Just breathe. It's not the same." And that was the problem. It wasn't, but people from that past tense situation were coming back. New energies were coming in. I can't explain it unless I'm coaching you, right? And that's where the room is. I'll still bring, theoretical situations through in the readings, but I'm going to try and do it so that, because you're going to get the best out of your personal reading over a zodiac sign, because every different little itty gritty detail is the key to the unlocking of your situation, right? You could have a circumstance where you've never been intimate. You could have a circumstance where there's a karmic. You could have a blockage relating to your career. So innate astrology and what's going on with you personally, it's odd. It's almost like Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez can be almost like a mirror of the twin flame. The reason why she actually would come into connection with him, and I'm not saying they are twin flames, this is just an example. Did you notice that when they came into connection, her career was really flourishing? And then when they went back into separation, she had the dissension, she had the ascension, and then she recreated herself. The reality is a lot of times when we move into connections, we completely forget ourselves, and we're not allowed to do that in twin flame path. That is a distortion and a split energy. So when you're in it, if you have any belief that your Omar Sharif is going to come and save you, or that a baby is a solution, and believe me, I had for many years blockages relating to babies. That was something that I had wanted, and it's probably because I was told, I had younger siblings, had wanted to have kids, but, there was no time frame on it really. And then early on in the piece, by about 19, I was told I couldn't have children. And so then it was an overload of that. It was like, oh, that's really important to me. And when I did meet twin, it was like, I don't know why, but, I think I would like to, do that with you one day. And the funny thing was there was several situations in our life cycle where other people I did, but I would miscarry because there was a link. Oh, thanks, sweet. There was a link to a blockage inside that chakra system and a pain body experience. So you attract that of what you fear. Yeah, but it's not a solution. If you're together and everything's flowing, And it's meant to embody. And again, your zodiac can tell you when that will be highlighted and it will be activated very largely. So in certain zodiacs will this year. But again, it's like, and I even did a bit of a chat with my daughter last night, and she messaged me and she goes, oh my God, Mum, you're right. Because, looking inside psychology, you can understand why we tick. And we do tend to egoically look at it and go, no, this is my side of the story. A lot of us can psychoanalyze it and look at it from various angles to understand why potentially they may be reacting to things. But you can't then move into playing a game of chess to get the best out of it. Because until that fruit's ripe, you're effectively trying to pick it, and it's going to be bittersweet. It's trusting that process, and it's a bigger picture. So it's a bit like, launching a business. You're like, I want to be a millionaire. Yet you're trying to, do everything you can to doctor the books to get that. And in the meantime, you're going into debt. It's like, no, there's a process. So what else was I going to mention? Number one, I will be doing twin flame readings. How I'm going to format them this week, I'm going to sit back and I'm going to work out what the format's going to be. I will put a community post up and I will tell you the new schedule of the twin flame videos and how I'm going to do them. I'm also going to do weekly energy check-ins, and they can be formatted in English. They will have components of astrology, in my knowledge, also psychic energy, chakras, and key themes as channeled messages coming through to you. The other area will be psychic messages. Now, initially it may be 1 to 2 videos, but I will move it towards weekly reads depending on how I go, because there is other videos I want to do in a creative format, which is things that, I had said to you guys I would do, but you got to remember, I'm a twin too, and I'm on my twin flame path. So I'm in a relationship with my twin. So if I'm doing readings, I'm coaching my clientele who want to do the work to reach union. So they're helping YouTube stay here. They're actually processing their path. The little small pocket group that I've created is for them doing coaching there too. Now, as for the platform of YouTube, I don't do anything by half, and I only commit to that of what I can deliver. So initially it will be monthly, and it's going to be psychic channeled messages, and then there'll be more formats of lives during the month. But I'm going to give you the schedule of what they're going to be. There's also going to be potentially cup readings, Turkish coffee cup readings. I do cup readings relating to the psychic energy that's coming through. So we'll have weekly energy reports, and if I have to, I'll come live if I feel a psychic download. Psychic readings per zodiac, and then twin flame videos. And I'm not sure quite how I'm going to do the twin flame videos, but it won't benefit you looking at a zodiac for a twin flame. The reason why is because it depends on your blockage. You can't fix it by looking at it. You're looking at it and it's disempowering. It won't fix the twin flame path. The work and the tools and the creative content I'm going to give you will, the energy check-ins will, but a twin flame zodiac week by week will not get you to union. I'm just telling you. That's why for those of us that are older on the channel and that have been on that twin flame path a very long time, it doesn't help you reach union because you're seeking outside of yourself, not doing the integration work. Energy check-ins, yes, especially when you're having the ascension symptoms. You need to get what the diddly-o is going on. You're like, oh, what's going on here? I don't get it. But when you're looking at, how do I put it, and karmic energies, it is okay to look at, but more from a perspective of, where is this frequency coming from? Has that human being as a karmic might be a work colleague. It might be a family member. It could be an old belief system that they're psychologically evaluating. So however it lands, again, it's very broad. But when we do tap into that, you need to look at that. Thanks, Tal. You do need to look at that because If it's just a person, it's very small in nature. You can usually find if a person does tap into a twin flame journey, it's to nest, it's not to stay. You know, it's really a person's transformative, and it's quite codependent in nature. So if they've been quite codependent and you've been enabling, they're going to attract the same thing. And because it's leaving you and going to another, they're not getting anything, you're not getting anything, but they're not getting anything either, because they're temporarily delaying the inner work, but it will come up at some point and, you know, get to a point that they'll have to do that work. So yes, that can be coming up. And I can say for many of you that have done the work, you're going to start getting communication and movement, and it is already amping up now. How you handle that depends on how much work you've done. You lost your antenna. Why? You miss your hair. You're a dag. No, it's because I think a lot of people at the moment are cutting their hair due to the fact we're disconnecting from something relating to 2018, 2019, because it no longer resonates with us. Now, as for astrology, I will be doing that on another channel. And the thing is, you twins will change, and so too have I. I am a twin flame, yes, but psychic development tools are going to be done here. I'm going to be doing numerology, signs to do with you're a twin flame, am I a karmic? You know, that's always a real interesting question. How to deal with it, all those things. I'm going to be putting creative content on here. Plus, when you're in given scenarios, how to relate to it. But again, you're only going to get the benefit out of it in coaching or joining us during the Twin Flame Lives. And really doing the work, which is completely in your power. Yeah, but at the moment, I think from a spiritual point of view, because we're ending a cycle and we're moving into the age of Aquarius, we don't resonate with that cycle. We're rejecting that old cycle and we're embodying this new cycle. So those energies, we've embodied that, and we're taking what's useful and we're taking it with us. And that's potentially why we're shedding some of that. We're shedding skin. Masculines last year were through their Kundalini awakening. This month, at the moment, I would say it's very stagnant. Numerology live. No, I won't be doing it live. I'm pre-recording it, and I'm going to connect it in with Twin Flame Path. Psychic messages, at times I will come live. And yeah, I do still do live psychic channel messages, but I'm going to sit there and I'm going to channel it, because I find if I can embody that energy, and it's to listen to. It may be video format, it may be audio format, but again, the other readings, which I'll come to, I may even start then doing after the psychic videos. I may do energy check-ins, and again, I'm still working at this, because this is a shift for Yildiz readings again. It's going back to Eon times, and it's splitting 2 channels. So I'm going to try and get it where I can still assess what the collective has been wanting here on the channel, but also start adding information videos, tools, ascension things, do coaching sessions relating to that live, so we can work on that subject matter, whatever's coming up in the collective. And then your zodiac signs, and then inside of that, twin flames. But we may actually be able to do that, in formats of elements. So I'm not outruling it, but I am looking at different things that I can be changing. When you haven't been in contact, how do you feel in relation to that? How many of you have been in no contact for a very long time? Because I want to have a chat to those of you who that resonates with. 3 years no contact. That's fairly, yeah. That may be the big subject, Lisa, is to shift that up. You might find that those hours are unmanageable, and that's something in the Capricorn nature with that contracts that's coming up, to look at it and look at it with Saturn's going to ask us to be responsible for those domains. which is now the crippling energy is being shown to us because we do still have Pluto in Capricorn. So if you're working on something, you know, and it feels a burden, it's, you know, if there's a shake-up in that area and it's unmanageable with the scales, Saturn's showing you what it is. Yeah, but again, Colette, what you'll find is in situations like that, there's always a shadow side on our style. And I mean, Giggle and I were talking about this, and we were talking about Libras. A lot of Libras can be lawyers and nurses. So a lot of times, and Libra's gone through a huge transformation. So I'm not saying I know what zodiac sign you are, but, you know, in a karmic setting, we have the 12th house and the 6th house that can be a house of undoing. Also to do with healthy boundaries, but also to do with the element of how we show up inside our connections. And a lot of Libras were healers, right? We're healers. We're like, I was a nurse. Yes, okay. You need to, in order to reach union, understand that they initially looked at you as the fixer. So we attracted those energies into our life so that we shift the energy onto us, yes, not the masculine. So at a point, you may have been enabling and having compassion and understanding, and it was kind of a habit that we may have had of caring for every Tom, Dick, and Harry, not ourselves. And that was very karmic for Libra over the last 4 years, that we've shifted that energy and that detachment has been there. And now we're learning that we have to heal ourselves, and there is different ways we can heal. It doesn't have to be in a format of enabling. It can be in a spiritual format. And also by helping a situation, it's not about being angry at it, because to you, it may have felt a burden, but it wasn't your job to do. It's by looking at and detaching and having love and compassion, but then now shifting it to you and looking at all the hurdles you've gone through and gone, if I can do it, they too can do it. And just making peace with it. Being calm, not being angry. And that can be a blockage in a path too. If you still hold anger, you haven't reached peace. He's married. He married me thinking I would fix him, but you believed such too. Then had an affair. The addiction to a degree is like we're having a connection with a patient. We're expecting to have a cognitive energy connection. And you know, there are some people that are very functioning, I'll be honest with you, and that can be the hard part, is when they are really a functioning human being inside of an addiction. It can be very dreamlike, plus you're looking at them and forgetting because they're a functioning human being. But the wound and the reality of how that can come through, and I'm not a medical practitioner, so I'm speaking from visualizations and experiences I've seen, that from that perspective, you are trying to have an adult connection. You are being a healer. You're also not aware that becomes, I remember some person saying to me years ago, when you are having a connection with them, you are the other woman to that substance. So the substance will always be chosen over you. And yes, that's correct, until that person can actually resolve. And again, it's only the Band-Aid. So that is a Band-Aid on top of the surface, but what's really underneath it is the bigger issue. You've got to let it go, Sway. You've got to do that, you know, go to a coach. Look at it differently. Do you hold guilt that you couldn't save? And again, you're embodying that. Detach. It's not. And it is going to be fine. But when we hold space in that energy, like the laws of attraction, cause and effect, it stays stagnant. And we don't really talk about these things exactly. But when we're holding that, that's why journaling's important. Your twin flame videos on YouTube aren't going to find that block. It's inside you. He chose the substance, and he didn't choose the other woman. The substance caused that as an addiction. And the thing is, we weren't choosing us in that element, and we dance with theoretical the devil. Okay? So now it's about making peace with that. We're rewriting the story, and we're going, okay, Now in the circumstance of the cycle of my life, where am I? That was painful, and I am going to love myself that I moved through that experience. It was a burden. It was emotional to watch another person hurt. It felt like a job. It felt like it was out of my control, and everything in our life is out of control. It's out of our control. Circumstances play out every day, and we deal with it as it comes, but that is like walking on eggshells. Okay, I'm speaking from experience. Up and down every 3 days. Eggshells. It's unmanageable. So now that you've divorced that storyline, we've got Venus and Capricorn, divorcing that storyline, not happening no more. Where you're at is to, first, make peace with that. We're not a doctor to that circumstance. When we're in a relationship, we are choosing to do what we are able to do. We will have love and compassion, but we can't fix that. I have changed my life so beautiful, but I know I can manifest more abundance but it's inner child healing, because what's going on is you won't be, 9 times out of 10 when we have a wound, it's coming through and it's being recreated in our relationships. So the thing is, if that happened, because it has come up today, it does resonate inside of you. And until we can diffuse that kind of trigger point and it can be calmed, it will affect your co-creative energy, because it's abandonment wounds as well. It's inner child. So there's ways you can look at it, and the more it comes up, just look at it and don't be angry at yourself. Just go, okay, now is there the mirror inside of my life that I felt? It's not you're fixing him, you're fixing the wound that is living in you. Because once it's there, we can be mad that they caused it, but that's now gone and it's still living in us. So to defuse the bomb, so to speak, and I don't mean physical, I mean psychological, the thing that is affecting us and making us grow in rage, we need to come to a place we can find out ways we can minimize that so it won't affect every domain in our life. That is going to detract from any connection until you can get our actions. Don't cause people to leave. That's their responsibility. And until you can make peace with the control-related dynamics, and I had a chat to my daughter about this. I said, the funny thing is, a lot of times where we get to hermit mode, we purely feel we can never let anyone in because they're going to break us, but you can't break what's broken. It's because you're still broken and you haven't let it heal, because we're moving into self-loathing energy. They do suck, but you can't lose what's yours. And the crazy thing is, the longer you're on twin flame path, you will start laughing because you realize you can't lose your bloody twin. A real twin won't lose their twin. And it doesn't matter if you are a real twin or you're not. If the wound's there and you're doing the work, you're important. You're important. It needs to be diffused so you can have a peaceful, lovely life. So doing that work is important. While we were in it and we didn't know, when you know better, you do better. It's the old story. Now where you are, it's affecting your current life. It's affecting you trusting individuals. It's affecting you attracting cash. It's making you build pyramids so that you're constantly safe. And it's, look at me. I was moving towards doing the astrology. The collective have spoken because there's codependency. So my coaching style for you guys has to change because there's codependency. Every time we bump in and we're having this coaching, and all of us have it, but it's how to unlock it so it doesn't affect every facet of life. And we all bump back into it and we bump out of it. Does this make any sense? And trust me, I've been there. Look, I've had 5 years no communication, but it's also, if you're getting to a point where you've made peace with things, you'll notice that energies are coming towards you. That's when you know you're moving into detachment, because you'll start attracting energies. But also, if you are going into motion of I need to fix it, you need to look at what you need to fix in your life. If we're having fair and we're in a karmic relationship, you can't then expect your twin to come and get you. They won't. And that was the hardest lesson I had to learn. A, it created more karma. B, the situation I was in was my problem to solve. We're not victims. We don't like hurting people. It sucks. But you're hurting yourself. So anything that you're dealing with right now that you need to make a decision on, if you are thinking of another individual over yourself, and it sounds narcissistic, but it's not, it's being a dolt. Putting yourself in the naughty corner at times is essential. And I said this to my daughter last night. I went, okay, no, this isn't about this or this. This is about you. What do you feel? Oh, but over here, I feel sorry. And I went, no. That's not what this is about. We're not going into victim consciousness. We're looking at, first the issue. What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Because everything else doesn't count if you haven't taken that into account. Then coming back to that reality, where do you stand? Sometimes those of you that never had a fallout and there was a breakup, we can then get to a point we can message without an expectation. You can message, but you are to mirror the energy inside of that when there's in and out, and you detach from it. You don't let it affect your life. You can't lose your twin because they're the yin to the yang of your energy, and until you've both upgraded that energy, you will keep interacting. So when you're going into a panic and a tension, you're humanizing the experience, and unfortunately, it's not a human experience. You can, at a point, choose a soulmate. I will say that, because when you have healed, you will attract a same vibration energy, and it becomes a choice to be with twin, and it becomes a choice to do what you want, and you will be free. But you have to do the work. You can't fail. The twin will keep coming back to correct it. You can't fail. It's too humanistic. It's a soul transformation. You remember back, how many of you have been on this journey over 5 years? How many of you on the journey in the house have been on the journey 10 years? How many 20 and above? And how many 2? And look, we can deem it as you will also get to the point where the tag won't define who you are. It won't. Telling a twin that they're a twin does not cement it that they're going to be with you. It'll scare them and they'll run away. You don't need the tag. You can acknowledge inside of your spiritual path who you are and what this is. You'll also find 11, 25. Yep, same as me, Dawn. And you're on the right path, Dawn. Don't second guess yourself. When it comes up and they're triggered attached, let them do the work. Look at the work you're doing. I'm doing this and I'm in hell over here. If I can do it, they can do it. Right? Good. Have fun. In grade 7. There you go. $11 years, 2 years. Yep. So I do have twins that are newbies, and there's catch up. I am doing the part of my journey alone, but we do, sweet. We get the whole way we're doing it alone. I'm honestly telling you, because until we can face our fear of abandonment and being alone, it was one of the best things that ever happened to me, I tell you. His friends came to my house and they were like, "Are you okay, Yildiz?" And I went, "This is the best thing." And that was just prior to union motto. And anything that makes you scared, go and confront it. Go and confront it honestly. Young on in the age, I traveled the world. Probably not the best time to do that right about now. I would eat dinner alone. I would go to the movies on my own. And I was doing a lot on my own. I could handle a lot. And people saw me that way. Good old Libra energy with Cancer rising. 22. See? Then when you get that abandonment energy, you probably don't have that issue with other people, but you do with twin. Why? Because there is a soul contract for you to upgrade. So when you go into the separation, some of you, your kids might move out all of a sudden. That happened to me. Then twin wasn't there. And yeah, I could have ran for the hills, but I realized I couldn't run from me. And that's what feminines do inside the journey. So the whole paradigm relating to The runner chaser is right but wrong. And you can find that as a reality inside you when you think back in your path, and I'll explain why. When masculine's running, they're running from you. They're running on the outside, but they're on the inside. There's things going on, but they're running from circumstances, right? But it's happening on the outside. Feminines are running on the inside in a mirror effect. So as within, as without. That's the yin to the yang. Now, when you both stop doing that, you're integrated. So a lot of the journey is correct, but you need to use who you are and look back on your patterns, and your patterns are the key to it, unlocking it. The chakras, the Kundalini awakening, you know, what those things are, which I'll make videos on it, but you're going to have to do the work. You are the key to your twin flame journey. Again, emotionally detached from competition energy. Usually when we've got to that place, right, Lisa, it's because we're peeved that we gave our power away. And now our soul vessel, we've upgraded, and we're loving the, we're understanding this is a whole course spiritually. And when we share it, when we've given too much, we feel spiritually raped, right? But then we upgrade, you refill that battery, you don't give your power away, and you upgrade that energy. And then you give what you choose to give, that's your power. And it's because it's reciprocated in a fashion that resonates with you. I'm choosing to give because I can. You can't take from me because I'm awake. I have accountability to give what I want to, not what I don't. Does that make sense? But when a person is choosing someone else, it's actually not a competition, it's a blockage. Toxic parents. What is the learning from the places of having to live with a toxic parent? Look, in twin flame journey, you will have a mother or a father that will mirror your twin. So for you, on your side of the fence, there will be a mirror. And they need to, you would have maybe had a lot of patience with a particular parent. They would have exhibited, you might have looked at them as a victim, a parent, or you may have felt victimized inside of your connection and you liberated yourself. So feel free to tell me how that resonates with you. Met my twin flame 20 years ago. Oh, Sally, go on with you. I love Sally. She's the comedy of the tribe. She's the comedian. Oh, mind you, Giggle and I are too. We've got a bit of that, you know. There's a few of us in here. He's like both. Yeah, so but you learn something through them. And then through the mirror, you can directly see on their side, and that's their soul process. So if you've already passed that test and you've understood with mother, father lineage, which was coming up at the end of 2020, it was all coming up for us. So yes, it's natural that inner child wounds are coming up for some of us. Co-creative energy is coming up. Those circumstances that played out can help you understand, and then what you learned through that process, you can implement connected to your twin flame path, but you can't enable. You can't. So if they're moving away from you, accept. I used to say, which I don't say that on YouTube anymore because of, I've got to be careful. Go have a cuppa and sit back and get a tan and go, okay, honey, I'm going to go over here and do mine. Don't get triggered. Don't speed dial. Let go. It's control. You got to. It's the best therapy, but only the ones further on in the journey. How do I say it without being condescending? It's not condescending. We feel nuts. We want a lobotomy because we're quite happy. There was a lot of lessons in it, but we're accepting of it, and we're like, oh, there's no room once you reach that ascension point. It's not narcissistic. It can come through very sarcastically at times. You have to laugh at yourself. You can look at the good things. You can look at the bad things. But You'll know when you reach union is when you can do both of those without letting it ruin your day. You're like, and I'm not saying I didn't cry prior to union. I did. But that was me reaching peace with it. That was the 7 stages of healing. That's why counseling's great. That's why you understanding emotionally where your ascension symptoms are coming from inside of astrology will help you deal with it. I mean, I had a YouTuber that, took the nice time to email me, and she said she preferred to have twin flame videos, that she knows the astrology herself, which is great. But the thing is, if you know astrology, you'd know when the triggers are coming in. You'd also know how the masculine's transforming from their astrology. You'd also know that the whole key to that journey is not them, it's you. And that sounds strange because you're wanting to reach union, right? But to reach union, as soon as you shift that energy over to you, you're going to reach union. But we don't believe that because we're looking at it as a humanistic experience. And I'm sorry, guys, it's not. It's not the way the role goes. It's never been that way. Those of you that have been on this journey a long time know as soon as you've just gone, oh, heck, and you've just got your life together to come back, why is that? Because you're in detachment. It's called relax. Let it go. You can't lose them. And at that point back then, you're thinking, unfortunately, right? Some of you were like, no, come back. And then you're like, oh, is this going to be the same? If you're not the same, no, it's not going to be the same. I triggered him too because he blocked or ignored my text. Don't take it personal. There could be something on the other side, which is his business, not yours. Don't get triggered. If they're not texting you, don't stress. When they're ready, they can talk. And when they've resolved their complications on their side of the karmic fence, great, talk then. Is that fun for you? I hope you're having fun. I've been here for 3 years, so... That's okay, sweet. It's a hard path, and at times you guys will get to the point you're thinking, how do I do this? What is this? And you are. It's like you're in a punching room trying to work through those wounds. It's really a horrible thing. It's not fun. But the more you shift your energy over to you, I'm honestly telling you, think of it. If you were a person looking at a relationship, what would you want out of a connection? And this was something I talked to my daughter about. And I was like, okay, through this process, you could, through your pain body experiences, have you ever noticed inside of, I don't know, I won't mention that. That's not really going to serve. How do I explain it? You've got to think of what you find attractive in a relationship. And the thing is, 9 times out of 10, when the activation of the feminine comes through, it's like you're running down the bloody aisle. I'll tell you, right? You're like, I know this is meant to be. I have this feeling, right? And it's overwhelming. I'll just say feminines. And you can go back and look at it and laugh. But initially, it's not like that for most twins. I don't know what it is about you, but you're irritating. I dig you, but you're really irritating. I can't put my finger on it, and it's something about it. Now, a lot of the personality of your masculine in the higher octane, to get into yin and yang, you need to integrate inside your life. And what do I mean by that? My masculine was like the Fool card in the tarot. He had a lot of responsibility early on from a very, very young age. He had to grow up very young. And from that point moving forward, very family orientated. Kids love him. Probably why I want to have kids with a Fool card in the tarot, telling you. And then as I would observe him, the thing I think in my ascended state now that I was attracted to was he wasn't scared of peeving anyone off. He would say what he meant and meant what he said. And he'd do you a favor now and then. This can be very Cancerians in nature as well. If they don't have anything nice to say and they really don't like you, they're not going to burst your bubble. They won't bother with you. You're gone to them. It's like, because if I do tell you, it's going to really hurt you. So I just won't. I'll let you do your thing. It's almost Capricorn in nature too. So for him, the things that I liked was Yeah, it's like, look, I mean, I don't want to fool you, but you're not looking so great right now. But but you can also have that attack too. You can be like, I can really embarrass the heck out of you if I need to. Yeah, very true, Sally. So, in that circumstance, the thing that attracted me, which I needed to embody in my life, is not micromanaging my words. Stop mincing your words, feminine. Mean what you say and say what you mean. Be nice. You are nice. Mean what you say and be what it is. So, if you want the white picket fence, the babies, the house, you can embody that energy, but you can't project it towards your masculine. Now, if you know what you want and you start embodying it, you will attract that, because you can state to him, in my life, what I'm looking for is a statement inside your own life. That's what I am ready for in my life. When it happens, but I'm really focusing on my goals and myself. Do you know why that works? Because it's not, can you do that for me? It's not, that's what you need to be. That's an expectation. And if that person has psychology issues or wounds relating to a previous feminine, you're mirroring everything that previous feminine was, and they're going to run for the bloody hills. I'm just saying. You should get a... Okay, so some of us may have done that early on in the piece. And look, I am not saying talking to your twin and saying, well, I'm wanting as kids and I actually want kids with you. I know that's not wrong. Now, if they run for the hills, that's their shadow. Now you go quiet and you start moving forward, and that will trigger them too. And in 2 weeks, you'll probably have a phone call. Why? Because you're not saying my whole life depends on it if you can't come with me. No, I'm actually adult enough to own who I am. I can say to you, I love you. You don't have to tell me. Right. But I want X, Y, and Z. I have no attachment to when it's happening, but I know my worth. And you don't need to say, I know my worth, because it's not actually. It's like you're having a... They don't believe that either. You got to own it. All right. Then when you've made that statement... Yeah, and that's okay. But if you think it's just to fix the connection, it's not. And if they can't even get into a relationship with you, why would you want a baby with them anyway? So it's good to make a statement of what you want in your life and own that and go, I'm ready for children. I would love to have them with you. If that's where you've been at before, you've had a connection before, and, you know, now what it will do to them is once you shift all the energy over to you, and you're having a high vibe life, if you're posting anything, it's high vibe post. It's not, I really miss them. I'm a victim. It's been really horrible what happened to me. They're going to be looking at you. Oh, I'm going to come at you. Any of you have a nagging child? That's how it feels, because they do watch you. They do watch you. They have friends. They have resources. They block you. They have a second, third, fourth, fifth account. I should share some of my twin secrets. We can laugh about our twin flame journey. I was a friend to him way before we ended up together. And he had many phones. I'm like, and I tease him about this. I'm like, so how many phones was it back then you had? Yeah. Because I was his friend. His girlfriends would come to me for coaching. And I was nasty. I should have taken some of my advice back then. But you can be real too. So if you are having a crappy day, talk about your life though. Be going, oh, this side of me, that's different. But if it's about the fact that all men are horrible or all women are horrible, or putting up the Titanic, my heart will go on, I can tell you that all the honey to the bees, they're jumping ship right now. You go do that work, right? Get your Bridget Jones's underwear on. Go sing that out and pour that out and journal. And go, right, I don't know when, but this wound is going to go, and I'm going to Bridget Jones's my life away, and they're going to go from that style to banging, smoking, and that's what I'm doing with my life. It's going to be the best. And it's going to be a little bit like French kiss. Beautiful, lovely, wish you were here. And that's what you need to embody. If you're thinking... Depends on where you are. If you're embodying the energy of I'm sad and I wish this was happening, I wish it had changed, That's different. You're in a 7-stage process of healing, and you've got to work through it. Don't avoid it. Comes up, deal with it. How can I change that? Now, inner child wounds, get dancing, because it moves that chakra. You can use citrine. You can eat the yellow food groups. You can listen to high vibration music. Embodying a high vibration feminine, pouring your energy into co-creative endeavors, not being intimate with other energies, and you will upgrade that chakra. Then you can attract energy. Inner child and sacral chakra of the passion energy, if you have any fair bass frequencies. I've recently become acquaintance. Mechanic tap. I don't know, doll. I'm just doing channeling at the moment. I get lonely, but I deal with it. Yeah, but because you've got pain body experiences of the past, you probably have a grander plan in your life, and it's blocking that from coming. So it could be a little bit stagnant at the moment, Colette. So as soon as you can kind of work that out and make peace with that, you'll think everything's going to move, everything's going to shift. So it won't necessarily be, the vibration is what attracts everything to us. So if you never want that to happen to you again, by purging that, by healing your belief systems towards your role in everyone in your life, fixing everyone. Anytime that comes up, go snap, okay, what do I need to fix? Anytime someone's dragging you into an old way of being, similar to you were with your twin flames, right now, siblings, family, children, mother, father, friends, work, change that. Keep changing that, because, for Libras collectively, it's shifting. We had Mars there, now it's second house placement. So a lot of Libras right now have got self-esteem energies, or we're gearing up ready to launch things. It can be either way. But again, our finances are a big thing, but it's the power. So Mars makes us look outside ourselves, but we have to look inside ourselves. I feel you, Sally. Okay, so the chakra 7 is what you mean by the stages of healing. Yeah, but they're not going to come up in an order. Your blockages will depend on your life and your path with your twin, as well as other things, right? So currently, if you have a particular blockage, I can key into the chakra that's blocked. We can talk about your belief systems connected to it, and that's why the coaching sessions are important. When you're listening, and when I listen to you, so initially in the coaching sessions or the readings with your twin flame and those things, the first thing I do is hear your side, because I'm analyzing the energy to give you the best way to deal with it to move through your ascension process. Plus, I'm giving you ways to look at it. And initially, you'll find when we do have separations and there is betrayals and cheating, we are coming from victim consciousness and we're mad as heck. And it can be projected to the reader or the coach. Once you can get past that block and you're able to look at it without feeling we're, attacking you, then you've moved to the point that you've made peace with that and you're going to attract a lot of great things. But while you don't, every circumstance in my twin flame journey that I fared, I directly attracted, and it bloody happened. So the quicker you can look at your belief systems of what you're not wanting to happen with your twin flame, write them down, start looking at how that links to somewhere in your life and start working with it ASAP, and that will stop those things manifesting. I have a knight in shining armor that I can't commit to because it would be a dishonesty to love. Damn. Yeah, and the thing is, it's about alignment. So naturally, you usually have choices. We can have paths to go down, but it's not a dishonesty to divine masculine or to a soulmate. It's to you because it doesn't feel authentic, and that's okay. So we purge that because, again, is it that we're looking outside of ourselves to fill that void? Well, we already found the key to the void. And that's the bloody divine masculine. But it's also the blockages and the upgrade to do with it. And it doesn't mean to say, hey, I'm going to be in union with my twin. It means while you have that in you, this can be two things. Yes, you can have union. Yes, you can. B, while we're running like circles and jumping into soulmate energies, karmic energies, and we still have that wound, it's better to not hurt anyone else and just to put ourselves in a situation, but you still can experience connections. I'm not saying if you've made peace with that and you're all okay and you know you're a twin, can you have a life? Yes. Yes, you can. There is a reader that, Giggle mentioned, but you have to make union with self first. Then you're able to have connections with soulmates. It's a choice. Denial, pain, guilt, depression, and it won't go in any set format, and it can go for a while. Right. Are you going to do vids on? Okay, in my opinion, if you're on a twin flame journey, this is how it goes. I can do it, but the thing is, look, a lot of people that maybe are soulmates and they've been in a betraying situation want to tag it as a twin flame journey. Knowing if it's a karmic or it's not, this is how it plays out. When you have blockages inside you, you will attract it with anybody. We are our own karmic in our life. If you're scared people won't be able to have kids with you, this happened to me. Example, didn't want kids because I had too much responsibility. So I placed it way out there. It's further down the track. I'm going to go party, have fun. I'm going to be free. I had too many responsibilities. I didn't want that. Right. I then was told at 19 I couldn't have children. I was like, heck, I want them. I then was in a connection and it was very suppressive. And I was like, look, he was the most beautiful person, but it didn't resonate with me. And I grew very quickly. I was young, but I grew quickly. I'm quite an old soul. And I grew out of it. But I was scared because there was codependency to leave. So it took me 3 times. It was very frightening. I was like a little chicken jumping out of a nest. I had a scare factor of falling pregnant. I was like, if I don't want to have this, yet I do want kids, then this is showing me that something in me has changed and I have to honor that. So I had to leave. And I was very young. Then after that, when I met Twin. I had only just come out of that connection. It would have been about 3 years. So 3 years into leaving my first relationship, which was effectively my first intimate relationship, I was single, fancy-free, dating, having a flatmate energy, and I happened to meet my twin, and he was in a connection at that time. And the first time I met him, I acknowledged him as, it was a bit like the movie Dirty Dancing, except it was from me looking at him like the person he was with was putting him in the corner, or he wasn't acknowledging the aura in him. So he was just quietly sitting in the corner cooking. And I was like, you're a man, you're cooking. You got it all going on. Again, father energy, the mirror. This man could do everything. And I was like, what planet do you come from? You're not normal. I mean, I'm not saying that men don't, but in my life, in my circumstances, my Libra energy, I was it for everyone. I was the mother, father, cleaner, nurse, my side more so. So health boundaries for me needed to happen. Now, inside of his life, a lot of things happening, right? So when I met him, again, I was like, oh, okay. The person I ended up with, I fell pregnant. Again, wasn't ready, it wasn't working. And then, yes, had the child. But after that, even after meeting Twin, being with Twin after later down the track, having the separation, we had a few miscarriages between us. Karmic fell pregnant. Again, I attracted it through that path every step of the way, everything I didn't want. So when I wanted them, I couldn't have them. When I didn't want them, I had her. And I do love her. I'm not saying that, but it's the circumstances of what we attract. Then Twin, I'm like, oh, you'd be a great father. You're everything, right? Got karmic pregnant. So work through your fears. And now it's almost like, it doesn't fuss me. None of it. Does he have kids? Doesn't fuss me. Do I have kids? Doesn't fuss me. Because I purged that. It's like, whatever. He was married 2 times. And the funny thing is, he was never married. And I was married 2 times. Yes. 2? Yes. First one was an arranged marriage. No, I don't have a religious family. I had a strict father. I have never married. And he's always dirty at me that I did get married. So what we need to do initially is attract, okay, what you're attracted to in that person. Your goal is to integrate that now inside your life. So what attracted me was he was the full card in the tarot. He would go and do what he wanted. If he had something to say, he would just say it. He would never own other people's BS. That's a you issue. That's not a me issue. And I had to integrate that. On his side of the fence, what would I say he needed to integrate? We were talking about this last night, being chalk and cheese. And he goes, well, I like, cheese more. And I went, no. You need to get me. I need to be a bit more firmer like you, right? It just dropped out in YouTube. It's not me. It's YouTube. Okay, any other questions? Number 1, coaching helps. Number 2, I'm changing the format of the readings. I know you guys miss my psychic reads, but the most detailed things you're honestly going to get is always going to be a personal read. Now, I did used to give freebies away. I may bring that back, but not one person that I gave a reading away free to ever booked another reading. So that might have been their financial circumstances. And again, in order for me to stay, I've got to feed myself. I'm honest. I do have bills. I have the internet. I have all the technology. I have the time for recording. I have bills. So this is my full-time job. So I am lucky enough to have a small amount of adverts on YouTube, which I don't put them everywhere, but all YouTube videos are getting them. So it's not a me thing. This is the way YouTube's going. And as for the bookings, that helps support me staying here. Otherwise, if I had to do that, I would be doing a full-time job and I would be working. So A, it helps you, but it keeps me here. B, to work through those things, you can do that to yourself. Do the mirror work when it comes up. I'm going to try and get Luciana and Jen on the channel, which we did talk about last year, and they moved me into the mirror work so that we could actually see examples and we can talk candidly about things that I went through in my temper tantrum ways, through my blockages, through my separation. I was mad. And I did, for the community members, share a video that I had in my what I felt during that process, but it was more so me realizing that I was mad about me feeling me embodying the masculine role, right? So feel free, for those of you that are members, you guys have seen that video. I've shared it, and now I'm wearing a tie. Some of you may remember back to when I did that. I was really peeved off. And I was talking about the fact that I no longer will do a male energy's job, a masculine's job. I'm embodying my feminine. I'll use that masculine energy on my side. Yeah, I know, same thing. But I won't be doing everything that is their energy. Okay? Okay? 404 code. Okay, as for karmic breakups, yes, they can be happening. But again, more so this month. This energy, the way we're going, there's no going back. You have to go forward. You'll know you're ready, because if you keep looking back, you'll keep moving forward. Okay. My shop link goes. I'll have to double check it. I don't know. How can I pay for a reading besides PayPal? They've got credit card and things like that on there anyway. Otherwise, just message me through the website, doll. But yes, okay. Otherwise, the next reading I'll do is going to be a twin flame update. As for channel messages, I'm going to put a community tab up and I'm going to give you the schedule as to what's happening on Yildiz readings. So we're going to have monthly psychic readings. Already what is coming through for Libra, and it was the only one I did, so I can only really mention Libra, is you could potentially be this week getting a message. It might drop your gut a little bit, and you're going to have to kind of go off and do that. But after that point, about 4 days later, something's moving. So be prepared for that. Again, if you do want a private booking, you can go there. We're going to have Turkish coffee cup readings monthly. I don't know what format I'm doing it in yet, but I'll keep you posted in the community tab. If you are finding you're not getting notifications, you need to go back into your settings. You need to unclick and re-click the bell and the notification. And the other thing you can do is message YouTube and say, look, my settings are not actually telling me. And I'll try and put it in also the other post that comes through separately to the channel, okay? How can you pay for a reading without money, honey? I could say something silly, but, you know, it'd be cheeky Libra style. You know, what happens when we get stuck in a restaurant and we can't afford our food? We have to wash dishes, right? But it was going to be naughtier than that. But, you know, anyway, I will come through and I'll give different giveaways, but they're going to be in different formats. I'll tell you the days we're doing super chats and channeled messages. So number one, psychic messages coming back. Information videos relating to tools, how to go through your twin flame path, what the signs are, what the synchronicities are, twin flame numerology, coaching sessions. If there's anything else of a theme you are looking at and you have an idea on a style video you're looking at, I will put another questionnaire up and we'll put a vote in and we'll get those in. Yeah, but, you know, it's funny because I'm still going to do taking that channel out. If you want to do the work, you do the work. If you feel, you know, it resonates, you know. The lucky thing is those twins that are getting it ready for union, they actually focus very much on their path. So they do look at the astrology because they're focused on their side of the fence. The north node is what you're needing to move towards, but you will transform the south node. So you utilize energies of the south node too. It's like a circular effect. Both will transform. Okay. And karmically at the moment, it's transiting, you know, over my south node. So I'm shaking those things up. I believe you, Sally. Hey, we're closer than you think, love. Oh, I love you too, Giggle. I did say heart chakra was coming up. You're a dog. I built the website myself, Dal, so I already know how to build websites. So I could turn that into a website. I could turn that into another thing. Yeah, but at the moment, yes, I don't know if I'm staying with Wix or not. I don't know. But anyway, thank you. I'll keep that in mind. Yes, I think I've done everything from building websites to seminars and things. And I'm integrating that later. It will be coaching sessions on the website, but I'm not biting off more than I can chew, okay? Because I'm in union. I do have a child. I do have shopping and cleaning, and I don't have a cleaner, right? And so, you know, of late, I can say over the last 4 years, the next 2 months, you're going to have a lot more regular updates. But you'll also, I'm going to pre-record them ahead of time, and I always did that. I'm going back to that. You'll get more live content, but it's not going to be every day right away. I know I have been live the last few days because we're shifting that around, but I'll have dates I am coming live, so you'll know when to anticipate them. And, oh, thanks, Val. Separately, what else do I need to tell you? Yep, keep an eye on the community tab. I'll also put an email out for those of you that have joined the website and get that regular email content for the changes. But it has to be manageable. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Because I am in the connection, I need to energetically do my upgrade too. And then I have that energy to bring to you to tell you what's coming in that future tense, you know, from my direct experiences. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, I'll have to go and look at it. Yeah, we'll have to do some comedy videos about coaching of, you know, how to deal with when they're ghosting you, how to deal with their responses and text message. Yeah, all of those things. But again, I'll put a post up. You can put your comments as to styles of videos you want, maybe certain questions. If it's really detailed and it's a specific thing, you need a reading. It's just not going to help. It's, you know, we need to get to the key lock, the issue, the blockage. We need to help you look at a different way you can do it and to own your power. And number one, although, and another thing was when I was just doing twin flame reads, those that got paved at the journey that were choosing soulmates or to move forward, journey that were choosing soulmates or to move forward, they won't resonate with this. They'll leave, and that's natural. But it's so that if you do choose not to be with the twin flame, we need to get you on that track to the ascension so you can get on solid ground and build the best life, that it won't prevent you, it'll liberate you, okay? Because that's what this is about. Number one, you're reaching in yourself. You're getting the best out of your life. You're going to attract high vibration, whatever that be. And that's why, because we're doing the work. But yes, you will attract a twin and you will have the choice, okay? I'll talk to you later. Bye. Got to go feed my nephew now. Well, not feed him, but hang out with him.